All right, hey guys, William Saunders here. So just wanted to give you guys an update as I promised. Okay, so let's take a look. Today is January 31st, 2021. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys what's been going on with our AI and also, a few other accounts that we have on there and just kind of walk you through the process a little bit. Okay. So for starters, this is going to be, one of you know, for some of you guys, you consider this to be a large account, but it's not a large account to us. But we're just going to go ahead and refresh. And I want you guys to see that we started to adjust the settings for January and we started to link it up to this account. And that started trades on the 22nd, as we could come down through here, and that's when it closed out on the 29th. So just in roughly a span of pretty much a week, on this account that has gotten 1,380 pips in just basically a week and up in profit $99,000. So we take a look at the overview. I want you guys to see that we are still floating right around minus 12,000 in profit and everything like that. We can expect a drawdown of maybe roughly 20% of the balance, but it's kind of like something because you guys really don't see when it's like down 8,000 up 6,000 then start closing out positions. So this is a perfect example where you guys actually see that we're floating minus negative 12,000 in profit, but as the next 1 to 2 weeks come, we're still going to be positive in a portfolio. We don't take any huge losses and everything like that. So that's something which goes to show more about how it handles on the money management side compared to just always making money. And that's what I'm really looking towards. So in regards to the stats of everything, it's going to start to really update and cycle through. So you're going to start to see that the growth is going to be a little bit of something more. So the peak drawdown is, pretty awesome, but at the same time, you want to see what happens when, everything is going on within, the system. Okay. So right now it's doing a risk to reward of 23, which is outstanding. That's really great. Most of the time, excuse me, guys, most of the time it's going to be, you know, we've seen 18 to about 21, and that's pretty good and decent. So, and I mean, that's like the only thing that I could actually say. But yeah, so aside from that, we're just going to keep it going and everything in that nature. And we're basically going to, I think I'll do maybe I'm not too sure if I want to do weekly updates, so it's just going to be pointless. Maybe a bi-weekly update or definitely a monthly update on everything that's kind of going on. So, but that's something pretty exciting even for me to see on, automation with as many as right now, I believe it's what, 12 or 14 peers that it's monitoring right around the clock. So you guys are seeing just a bit. Okay, so moving on to this one here. So this is one of our longest accounts that we've actually had. I believe 650 plus days that we've actually utilized. So let me refresh this and see what kind of comes in. Okay, so for the month of January, trades only opened up pretty much from the 11th down to the 26th. So that is still over 1,000 pips for the month of January. So let me see if I can clear this filter off. And you guys will see when a filter is actually cleared off, total is 30,311 pips, okay? So this is one of the longest, accounts that we've actually had going throughout that whole process. All right. And I don't mind, of course, like just going through, as you guys can see, here's the pips, what's gain, what's lost, and everything like that. So I can scroll like down through here and you guys will actually be able to see how the pages actually updates through the groups. So this one, the money management, is pretty outstanding and everything like that. This is using one of our older settings, and we just modified all of the new settings that are coming through and just a bit. So that's kind of like what we're running, but this is the most previous that's going on. So I think I'll just do it maybe on a monthly update, but also show kind of like what's been going on within the quarter. And I mean, that's like pretty much it for the most part. So here's another account that is actually operated by one of our students that we ended up giving access to the software. And they've been coming in for January. Let's see, they ended up doing 629 pips. And let's see, here's another one. Let me make sure this is refresh. That ended up doing 741 pips. Yeah. So I mean that's basically for January results. As you can see, it's roughly 700 to 1,000 pips across the board for January. But I know like these other accounts, they're maybe watching about, let's say, 6 pairs. Some of them are watching 3 pairs with the software, where the other one that I've been showcasing, that one actually has right around 12, and it did 1,000 pips in a week. So I expect that one to always do more than all of the other ones, right? Because it's just watching more peers and everything in that nature. So that's kind of like something that we would really keep in mind. All right, so let me see if I can go over here. All right, okay. So essentially, this is pretty much, some of the things that what's been going on with it. So, like I was saying on one of my other, I think, stories, is that some of the entries would, I wouldn't want to take some of the entries. But at the instance that, I'm resting, the AI doesn't need to rest. And I mean, that's just kind of like how it is. So I would have pretty much preferred like this entry right around at this rate for sure to take a buy trade compared to having one right around at this rate. Now the exit was actually really, really great. I would have preferred a exit more so right around here, but the AI couldn't really pick that up, and it ended up doing an exit right around here. So that's something I can see within the development that needs to kind of be adjusted. Now, if this was, let's say, me trading, I would just pretty much take an exit right around here, or take an exit right around here if I'm actually, engaged in watching a market. But aside from that, I mean, the AI is still pretty much doing a really amazing job and everything in that nature. As you guys can see right here, there is a number. So what happens is that is the AI that is actually keeping up with the market on a bar by bar cases. So once conditions are actually met, then the AI will actually come out and start to count through a sequence process. So to go like, 1, 2, 3, 4, so forth and so on, right? Once the sequence of everything, all of the conditions are identified with the AI, then the AI will open up a trade and, take that position and kind of go from there. Okay, so that was what it was with GBP USD. I'll do a little scroll back so I have a little bit of time to see if there was anything else. Ah, my goodness. I think it's the weather here. Okay, yeah, so you can see it's a little bit of something, and it took a buy trade, took a sell trade, and everything like that. Some are a little bit longer. So obviously it placed a buy trade right here, and then it placed a sell trade right there. And then when that sell trade made money, then the buy trade made money and everything like that. So it's great at hedging to some degree. It's not programmed all the way to, be a master at hedging. It's not, but it's good enough, right? So the USD CAD, that was a pretty solid, break even, but when you have a decent, lot up on it, you still end up kind of making money and everything like that. And that's just one of those things, right? Like for me, it would have been something like, okay, take a sell trade through there, exit right through here. Where this is like, okay, it's still exit right through there back at that same point, which I'm like, okay, that's great as long as we're not losing money on the big end. So as you can see, it's already calculating 1, 2 currently right now. And let's see with the EuroCAD, yeah, it actually took a buy trade right there. And then you guys can see it's buying and holding right here. Now, one thing I would say is be mindful not to try to copy any of these entries that you guys see because you do not understand how this AI is actually closing out trades, and you don't know the way that it's utilizing money management. Okay, so don't think that because you see a buy here that all of a sudden that expect the market to kind of go up. Literally the next bar could come back around and go like this, and then the AI would close that buy trade and open up a sell position, right? But it's not like it's going to go straight to the moon and kind of like this all the time and everything in that nature. So just that's just like a really good disclaimer too, when you guys are actually seeing these positions here, is that yeah, the AI has an advantage, but also is not just going based off of entries alone. You know, it calculates timing, it calculates market structure, it calculates and uses you know, hedging to some degree, a very custom advanced money management and everything like that. So there's a lot that goes into it besides just the entries and everything, okay? So let's see, oh, this is the Euro GBP 1 hour. There was a sell trade that was there and it closed out, boom. Which is still kind of great because I mean, it dips down twice as much, but once again, we're talking like basically like guaranteed entries and profits and everything like that, and not really just trying to you know, dominate the market. You want to, in some cases, you want to make money, you know, faster, but there's other times where you just want to build the account larger, right? So with this settings, we are going more for a lot of the quick, you know, profits and everything like that. So as you can see, there's something that's counting up right through there. So I can tell that, you know, it's going to be some good stuff coming out next week. And here is the GBP NZD. So this went out through there. And this was, see, this is exactly what I like to see in regards to the exit. Entry was like, okay, not my typical style of the entry, but the exit is really, really outstanding and great. And I can say that's what I expect it to close with all of the pairs. It's not reading some of the candles as it should. So sometimes it's delayed and it's like this, where this is actually perfect, even though I would have had a exit of, let's say, right here, if not right here, um, due to my conditions. But once again, this is automated, so it's great, and it's still doing outstanding within the market. It doesn't have to be perfect, everything like that. GBP CAD, okay, so that bought from there, went up to there, and we can see it still extended out to this. So this was something where it's like, yeah, in one of those cases, it was really amazing. But at the same point, the conditions were met to potentially close the trade and monitor it and this and that. It has, you know, its functioning process. And then ended up buying back through there. So one thing is the Dow is doing set amounts of 100, you know, pips, I believe, or points. Let me take a look. Okay. Yeah, it's something like that. So it's doing set, yeah, okay, yeah, so it's like 1,000 points, 100 pips. That's what basically that's doing. I'm actually gonna change this one. So I'm excited for that as well because we have like several different settings that we can actually use for them, right? And I just select which ones to kind of use for the time being. And then once I have a certain amount of trades closed, I'll just go ahead and adjust the settings. So I'm actually adjusting this one, and I'm definitely adjusting the Brent crude oil because I find that the settings that I'm currently using it's great, but you know, it's too volatile right now for it. And I want to see a more optimized results and everything like that. So that's one thing, and that's kind of like the benefit of actually having everything that is correlating through. So if I can give you guys an example of what that looks like. All right, so let me get this one over here, and you guys can kind of see to some degree what I'm kind of referring to, right? So this is just an example of the settings and everything that we've had with our performance, the account, which ones actually did what, right? So an example is that you'll see like these two are the same pair, however, their performance is actually different. So like for instance, like I would be using, let's see, what's a real example? Let's say if I was using this one and then I wanted to, allocate the performance, then I would switch out to this one, right? And that's like pretty much it. So what we do is like every year we basically optimize our presets, and our performance is kind of like the formula that makes us the money and everything like that. It has its own unique growth, its own drawdown. That's something someone else asked me, like, well, how much does it earn within a average earning or something like that, right? And I mean, it depends on how many pairs that you actually do. So like this GBP dollar right here did 100% just on that pair for itself, right? But then you have something like gold did 200% of growth just on gold itself. So if I wanted to trade both GBP and gold, then that would be a collective of 300% growth. And I mean, I could add as many as I want, and that will, increase, the actual growth and everything like that. So, but at the point of, 12, I think would happen. That's going to be something like I'm projecting about. It just kind of depends on the market, but we'll see what happens in like a full solid 4 weeks, and also February and March and everything like that, or whatever the case may be. Then we'll have the metrics that is going on for that specific account, because different accounts perform at different sizes due to the sizes, right? And also due to the risk and everything like that. So this is kind of like what goes in. So I'm swapping out these. I have, I think, new ones that we're going through that we're still actually going back. So we're going to actually swap out. Swapping out gold. Well, the Dow, I'm adjusting that, and also the gold, I'm probably going to swap out, and also my Brent and everything. So that's going to be the settings that I'm adjusting. And I'm going to start. I know for sure Brent and Dow, I'm starting of this week. So I'm going to definitely adjust the settings and everything like that. And that's because they've been doing good, but the new ones is going to do a lot better and a lot greater. So I'm just going to do that with this account. Okay. So once again, as you guys can see, there is a negative open drawdown of 12,000. So in the next 1 to 2 weeks, we're sitting up what, 695 with 12,000, floating down to the negative. So the next 1 to 2 weeks, we'll see how this kind of pans out and everything like that. And that's going to be kind of like the interesting thing and the magical part, right? All right. So, I mean, that's like pretty much it, guys. Now, in regards to further information that you guys would be able to kind of keep up with, our hedge fund, AI, we have a playlist that I've done a while back and everything in that nature. One of the things about it is everyone is asking me when would this be available, or, am I selling it and everything like this. And what I can say is that with the new academy that's coming out, is going to be an option to for our new academy students to have access to, right? So we're not sure if we're going to allow the public outside of it to actually rent it. So that's why it's not so much of a separate, page going up. That's why we're not really trying to, push it like that or anything from there. Right now, the only thing that we're really doing is just, keeping up with the progress. So, like I said, this is something we've had behind the doors, at least 650 days, right? And we had it one version, the earlier version, which was the EA, we had that open to the public at once, but then we modified it and we just didn't give it back to the public. So, I mean, and that's why we have kind of like the difference between the EA and the actual AI, because there is a huge difference. So, and I mean, that's like pretty much it, aside from us selling the AI to a few new upcoming hedge funds and a handful of students that I wanted to, just make sure they can get back and start 2020 off to a great start, because I think it's going to be amazing to see what 2021 would actually do for them using kind of like the software and but aside from that, I mean, it's really still just exclusive and behind closed doors and everything from there. So we're using it to manage our accounts. So a lot of our accounts that we're dealing with, the software is actually managing those accounts. And the only thing is that we just kind of moderate and manage the software and everything in that nature. So, we don't really want it to be as exposed to the public as much and everything like that. I mean, that's just kind of like what it is. It's something that we utilize and everything in that nature. But it's also something that's, phenomenal and great to kind of share and move on from, more so that kind of perspective. All right. So if you guys, have any questions in regards to anything else, just let me know. I'll do my best to answer them and just keep you guys informed in regards to what we're actually going to do. And I'm just excited to show you guys, the results of, something that we've been working on once again for at least 600 days, and we've been just been quiet about it, right? But I know for sure over the next, 4 or 5 months, we're gonna have everything out in the operation for you guys to decide whether you want to come into the academy and have access to it or just moving on through there. Okay. So, wish you guys much success for the month of February, and I'll just keep you guys updated on my channels, more than likely with my stories and everything like this. I'll do one of these type of update videos maybe once a month, and I'll just do my best to kind of commit to that. So, once again, wish you guys the best and happy trading.